1 minute she's there, 1 minute she's gone. I remember that day like it was like yesterday. I was clocking in to work at like 5 o'clock and it was like probably 4:55. And I've been trying to call her all day because she told me she's coming back and never called. She told me she went home sick from work and I didn't hear from her since. And I called her one last time to just like kind of hope that she answered the phone. Someone answered the phone, but it wasn't her, it was her mom. And she told me that Pops got locked up, got arrested.
Like, it didn't hit me, I was in jail. And then I was just like sitting there looking at the walls, and then I freaked out because I didn't know why I was in there because I didn't do anything wrong. All I did was love somebody. So I flipped out and then I started crying for like ever because I didn't think I did anything wrong. And it hit me that like I was in jail. Like, it's not the best place to be.
Possibly think of finally found where she was, and she wasn't even booked yet. It's probably the worst month of my life.
When I sent her like those text messages were words, you know what I mean? Which, I mean, I'm not saying because everyone does it, it makes it okay, but it's not something that you should get in trouble for. Like, if
I went to court, I tried to look like a lawyer.
The reason why I took the plea, one was to get out of jail, like, right away. The other one was because if I were to get convicted, I would spend 5 years in prison.
I think the worst part was showing up in court and not seeing my mother, who caused this whole thing. It's really hard to like think about what happened. I kind of try not to anymore because it's something that I don't want to say. Like, I feel like it's still my fault, which is not the best feeling. Because if she probably would have never met me, this would have never happened. I guess I did what I could.
But you didn't do it.
Yeah.
That's very different. I have to say that.
Yeah. I just feel like if I could have done something to prevent it. Like, I'm sure we all could, but I feel responsible.
Yeah.
And it's just like the weight. I could suck the weight from it. It's hard to hold, I guess.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody really there to back me up, like family-wise.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have support like that.
So that's part of the cost of the whole thing.
Yeah. It did cost me my family, but family's what you make of it. Family's not just blood, it's what you make of it. And I consider her family to me.
I've never seen a case that was such a nauseating miscarriage of justice as what happened to Antjuanece Brown.
It's 5 years of my life is gone. I beat out when I was like 26. And I wanted, at the time, like, I thought I still had a job, and I wanted to go to college, you know what I mean? Waiting until I'm 26, I'd graduate when I'm like 30. Like, I just wanted to graduate younger than that.
It's just so many decisions to face in a short little time.
Yeah.
I would have wished would have happened is that as soon as she was charged, I wish that she or her attorney would have reached out to, it didn't have to be us, but to some legal organizations that assist queer, LGBT young people, because we've seen cases like this before. And with Antjuanece being African American in addition to a lesbian, we know that that's a toxic intersection of race and sexual orientation. I suppose what we would have done if we had come in is we probably would have challenged the statute and its application to Antjuanece.
Either way, I'm facing consequences. Like, because I did take the plea bargain, I have, well, I couldn't see Jolene for 10 months. And then there's, like, I did lose my job because of that. and they can't rehire me because now I have a felony, which I'll have a felony for the next 3 years, and I'll also be on bench probation for 3 years. And I kind of at some point wish that like right after I got out of jail, I wish that I would be like, I was like, damn, like maybe I should have been a child, right? But if I did, right, all it takes is like 12 closed-minded or ignorant people or homophobic people to just be like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to either be like homophobic, closed-minded, you know what I mean, or just like plain just ignorant. And that's, you need 12 of those type of people, and then I would be convicted.
My future-in-law has been ruined from it. Me being wanting to be a lawyer since 2006. My parents got divorced. It kind of drained, it drained all of the motivation for me. Like, if I can work and pay taxes and do all this other stuff, why can't I choose who I'm with?
That there seems to be like sexuality everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's targeted at young people at younger and younger ages. You know, whether it's through television and movies and billboards and, you know, and those laws were made. I don't know when they were made, but it was quite some time ago.
Yeah.
I don't know, 100 years ago or something. When sexuality wasn't as a focus of our society.
Yeah.
You know, I guess what I'm doing by asking you this question is I'm really commenting, because it seems to me that how could we expect young people to not think about sexuality and be sexual or write about it, right? Write about it, you know, if because we're all surrounded by it.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Yeah. It's just like I said, just because like everyone's doing it doesn't make it right. But when it comes to certain things, I think like that law was made in like the 1800s or something, and that was to like prevent like old men and women from like getting like 7-year-old kids and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Which I totally understand. I agree with that. But I mean, everything like now is completely changed. You can almost turn on any channel and there's gonna be kissing, making out, or you know, like sex. Like we are, it's everywhere, because I guess that's what a lot of people like, which is totally fine, right? But it is everywhere, and so a lot of people think like it doesn't have a big influence on people, but it actually like it does.
How you doing? It's good to see you again.
Well, hey! Oh, boy, you don't waste any time, do you?
I guess not. Hey, Cliff, how you doing?
My name is Kate Kendall. I'm Executive Director at the National Center for Lesbian Rights. Have her face 5 years in prison because she sent texts to her girlfriend that were sexually suggestive is appalling. You know, Antjuanece was 19, her girlfriend was 16. They hadn't even had, from Antjuanece's telling of it, and no one's contradicted this, any sort of a sexually intimate relationship. But she sent some language about what she would like the relationship to be. The girl's mother, the 16-year-old girl's mother, found out about it and complained to the authorities. And this is where something went horribly wrong. Any sensible district attorney would have looked at those facts and said, you know what? You just need to talk to your daughter, have a conversation, maybe get into family counseling. But instead, they brought felony charges against Antjuanece, and there's no doubt in my mind that had Antjuanece been male, no one would have even raised an eyebrow about this. You know, what we often have experienced is that many of the individuals who are in this kind of situation where there's a disparate treatment of them based on sexual orientation, race, or sometimes both, is that their attorneys, these are great public defenders. I mean, these are people who do, you know, God's work. They're overworked, they're underpaid, but sometimes they don't really, you know, they're looking at the facts, they're trying to get the best deal they can for their client, and they may or may not see the homophobia or the racism that is present in these cases. So what I think really needs to happen is education of public defenders who maybe end up representing these young people to take a look at the situation, and if it doesn't look quite right or it doesn't feel quite right, and certainly Antjuanece's attorney has indicated to me that, you know, she knew that this district attorney was off the rails and was being much more vigorous in his prosecution of Antjuanece than the facts really warranted. When something doesn't look right, it may be because there is something going on that needs to be further examined. Would he treat a boy in this situation the same way? And I think it's pretty unlikely that he would have. And if he would have, then I think the question needs to be, well, then something's really wrong. Because if you're putting people in prison and having them face the prospect of a complete loss of liberty for sending sexually suggestive texts to a girlfriend who is welcoming them, these are not harassing, these are not in any way abusive, then I think the statute really needs to be examined, and I think there needs to be a challenge to that statute.
I want a change in the law, you know what I mean? Because if someone else had to go through it, that would suck, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It might have a worse outcome on them than it did on me. So, I want things to, like, change. What happened to me should not have happened, and then I wouldn't want it to happen to anybody else either.
Worst part was waiting the 10 months until my 18th birthday to be together.
So we met up around 9 o'clock in Tualatin, and she opened, when we first saw each other, it felt very, very unreal. It was just like, I felt like it was like a dream. Like at any moment I would wake up and she'd be gone. I'd be really upset. But we got there, we hugged, she opened her gifts, and I got her a cake.
And she sang happy birthday to me.
And I sang happy birthday to her.
Stop making me laugh then.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Stop, baby.
Sweet.
I don't feel like I have to be a man, like be with a man to be happy.
Totally. Sorry.